G'day traders, Sam here from TradeToProspa to give you another crypto review. AVE or Avalanche. We did one some time back, got a number of likes or reviews, so it shows that there's a few people interested in it. So I'm just going to come back to this and give my perspective. Just make a note of that disclaimer. This is all about discussing the charts, no trading advice. So moving forward, please give me a like and subscribe, and that'll be nice. Now, when we look at Avalanche from two perspectives, we in the bull run, Avalanche came out early in the bull run, so it had this wave 5. We sort of missed the wave 0 to 1. So if it came out earlier, I'm just making the assumption that this is what took place. It does make sense. It sort of matches Bitcoin to the top, and so that's my early wave to the top, and early wave to the bottom is what I'm seeing now. Now, if you look at this structure, we define this structure from a Wyckoff perspective as this level was pretty much distribution, and we can probably look at it from a number of perspectives. But if we were to look at it from that perspective, you can say it sort of matches the distribution model. In some cases, it could be here or the bigger structure, but you can see with the automatic response and the support line, we are defining it as that. And everything after is a downward move. So I'm not going to map it out. It's a version of this, and just make a note of that. So when we look at the distribution level, we had that retesting volatility, and we came down, did another rally, which is surprising to go that high. Either way, we've come down. There's another chart, and this is it, and this gives you the cycles. So we can align this top with this distribution level, and then we have these phases. We're looking for this bottom phase. Bottom phase should align with Elliott wave 5. Now the Elliott wave 5 could be pretty much, it could line up to there, or slightly lower, or much further down. We can have a number of tools that, if you're familiar with wave 3 to 4, you can also do this, and wave 5 could be potentially down there on the 1.618. In some cases, it could be worse. It could go all the way down, much more down. So this lines up very close to the all-time bottom, and will not surprise me that this will come down. What's taking place right now is this monthly resistance level. The resistance level for the monthly is based on this phase. So when price went up, we came to a resistance, then we came to support, and then we kept moving up. So on the way down, we passed that level, and we came down to this, and I'll tell you why we came down to this level. And as price broke above this structure, as you can see, but we come back down. Now this middle of it, which is a point of control, is what's pretty much doing it, and it's our weekly and monthly levels. I'm not going to show you how we get that. So this is the main resistance unless we break it. So we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row trying to break it, and it's likely that we're going to continue down, and I'll explain why. Now when we go to the 3-day chart, and this is a log setting, we can see a number of levels, a bit more intertwined, and you can see the monthly level and the weekly level. And in the weekly, there were more wicks up there, but you can see on the 3-day, we are starting to push down. So when we break it down more further, this level, you can say that Fibonacci level, the 618, from this top to the bottom. So let's just do this in more defined details. It's actually the 0.5 that's holding it up, and here we go, the 0.302 holding it resistance. So in smaller detail, you get to see more more of a range, more of details, and so the 3-day chart is showing us that this is struggling to hold. That wick so far, yesterday's one, kept it up, but when we look at from another perspective, it is showing weakness. Now the question is, was this a good bottom? It could be. However, I do still believe that Bitcoin's going to drop a fair bit. So this, if this is aligned by 3 and 4, it might just dip. It might just dip a little bit, or to 1.272. But we have these targets over here, based on the Fibonacci on this method. Now let's look at it from a non-log perspective. So from a non-log perspective, let's put these lines out. You can see I've done this before. We've got a bottom support level. Yep. And what I've done is I aligned it with a big macro channel. And then what I'll do is I'll break it down into more pieces. So let's do that. Subdivide, subdivide. And now this looks like a downward channel. If I add this on, I'm not sure why. Days. Yep. Okay. So if I add this on, as you can see, now we got more refined details and sort of explains points of references as resistance and support. We can also do this slightly more to that level, and you might have some confluence maybe there. That might just help us out a bit. Okay, but either way, let's go stick to this. So what we had is levels of support in this downward formation, and if you want to say, okay, that is a clear long-term resistance line, maybe it's valid, but it also shows you that if this was to keep going sideways, it could be a pivot point. But when you look at it from this perspective to a log perspective, it doesn't really help there. But what we can see here, you might get to that stage where it just goes sideways. No, probably not. Just have a better look. It doesn't quite give us anything there. So let's put that Fibonacci back. And so we are coming to a pivot point based on these Fibonacci's. It might be actually this one here as well. Trend line as well. It's very like Bitcoin. So it could be two paths to it. This could be the pivot point, and we just go down, and then I'll look at this next weekly and monthly support. That's where the double bottom comes, and we want to see something like that come up. If it breaks down, if this drops hard and breaks down, then it's more likely to come down to that target there. And realistically, that's not a bad idea there. So let's just stretch this out. And you can see that the middle of the channel could play on this quarter, this sort of last bottom part of the channel. This could be a support level. And historically, if you look at it, along here, we had a lot of fluidity in support and resistance. So this could be potentially a reversal level for a good move to the upside. And we're looking for that kind of move there, where this is previously resistance. So this level could be a good resistance. And then we'll look for the next bounce. And then hopefully we see a change in direction. Something like that. But that's what I'm looking at the moment from that perspective. If I just enable a few other things, let's see how that looks like. What else we've got in common? So if I was to add these on, so I had that already there. Trying to do it. It's playing hard. Just make that thicker. So we have that 3-day resistance line. We'll just keep it there and we'll see how we go. And then we'll see added that weekly level. So, okay, I'm doubling up on this one. That's another weekly level. And now what we have is this fib extension. This fib extension, actually, let's do that. Wrong level. Okay, can't do it. Need to put the log in to get that. All right, can't use this one. So what we have when I did the fib extension, swing high to swing low, swing high. We just broke down the 786. Okay, need to bring this a bit further down there. And you can see how the monthly is a 618 resistance. This level is where I think we're going to be bullish. If price can break this level, the 618, the monthly level, that's when we become bullish. Anyway, let's have a look at it from another perspective. I think the log is more easy to read. And let's look at the RSI from that perspective. And this was the weekly. So the weekly RSI is showing us that there is a resistance level. So we have our point of reference there. We had our second resistance, third resistance. So we're slightly in this channel. So these are lining up with these. The RSIs are aligning with these pivot points. And obviously the bottom one's this one here. So when we look at this RSI, it can go sideways. And when it hits that RSI level, it's either going to go back to the upside or downside. And we've noted that the monthly level or this range is pretty much the resistance. Looking from the swing high to the swing low fib extension, which I did here, here's the reason why that was the bottom. So if we do that, you can see 1.618. It went a bit lower, but you can see the monthly level and the 1.618 is a golden ratio. That should be the bottom ideally. So we might just, I do see this being a double bottom trade, definitely. However, this could be another level to be a strong move. And then we could still do that. However, if Bitcoin really drops hard, then I could see this happening as well. It's just dropping hard more so to that level before we go up. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but in the coming next year, I can see certain things happening where the alts can really drop hard, and this might mean that either in that phase, somewhere in 2013, we drop to this level. Very possible, but for the short term, I do see this coming down here for support, and maybe it can do that, go up before it comes back down. So what I have is, where's my wave 5? Give me a sec. Elliott wave. So if that's our Elliott wave 5, wave 4 could be there, and if wave 4 is there, might make sense as well. It's at the moment this is our wave 4, and what I'm looking for is wave 5 long term. If we could potentially at this point just come down, scoop, and play another level down, and this channel might just come into effect. We might have something like that. What we have is part of the puzzle, and I'm not going to go there. It's just too difficult to play that guessing game. At the moment, I do see this double bottom becoming strong. I do see this dropping. Where Bitcoin drops, I do think Bitcoin's going to drop to 13K to 16K, 21%, maybe further down. But definitely if it comes here, you guys, this is a good trading spot, double bottom. And this could surprisingly go further up. What we have here is 3 sigma. So what we have is our 1, our 2, wherever it is, our 3. I wonder if that's 3 or 3 up here. And then we have our A, B, C. So A, B, C, and then up. So I'm looking for a big, long phase in this area. If we break this level, then I think the bull market starts, which is about 144. At the moment, what is it? It's at 72, but I do see the bull market being signified by some accumulation, long-term accumulation. This could be our first selling climax. Wyckoff, this is our automatic response. Yep. This is coming back down for the secondary test. This could be here. Secondary test is there. So if you're not familiar with it, we can see that happening on this chart on a big way. But it's going to be a big play, long, big play. And it does fit into our Sigma model. What I said is this is Y5. Y5, as I said, could be there, slightly lower or further deep. We get our secondary test. We have this midsection again, and it could be slightly same or higher to that neckline, and then we come back down for ABC correction, and then we have this big chunk moving up. So worst case scenario, we can go down to $20 or so. That's my thinking at the moment from a macro perspective. Short term, it is very difficult to trade. Just like yesterday, we had a few what I think is a squeeze to the shorts. So let's have a quick look on the 4-hour, and let's finish it off. Okay, so that was a strong bounce, and you can see clearly that this level here is resistance, and we're getting the rejection. So I wouldn't be surprised that if it just goes there once more, we get that opportunity to short. I'll be looking for that. If it does break to the upside, that's going to be surprising. Then I'll look for an entry there. But at the moment, there's nothing, and I like to see it just come up slowly. If it's a fast move like this one here, we can just short it quickly, and I think it will just continue down. I'm looking to short, I'm not going along. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up on that. Please give me a like and share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.